Cool. What I liked about that was they really opened it up after, he's kind of rapping and doing the song or whatever. And they do that first instrumental breakdown, and you're kind of waiting for the big guitar, the guitar hero moment, but it doesn't come, and then he sets up another verse. And then they finally give you the jam, and then they modulate, and then he's doing that soaring thing. It's like, it's Jimi Hendrix, basically, uh, where you, because the chord changes are going, one flat seven, one flat seven, over and over again.
Yeah.
So you can do a dominant seven treatment on it, and you can play blues licks, but you can also play really Mixolydian stuff. And Prince is great at soaring. It's a certain thing. Train does it. Jimi Hendrix does it. It's a you're soaring over that beat. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Like you said, you hear that Hendrix tone that he has at that one spot before he was ripping.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, clearly that's his man.
the drummer and the bass player killing it, right? I mean, what a tight thing they got going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked how much they opened it up. Usually Prince's records have that singer thing where they don't always like just let it loose, man. Let everybody go. Play jazz. Fucking go off.
Yeah.
Shred. Get sick.
Yeah, and that's one reason I chose this cut. I was looking for that.
Nice.
Where he got to open it up a little. Now a couple other things before we move on about Prince. Is Miles Davis was a big influence on him, and he idolized Miles.
And the opposite. Miles really talked about Prince in terms of how massive he was, as massive as Duke Ellington, I think was the quote, if I remember correctly, a long time ago.
Yeah,
he championed him.
Yeah, and so not. I mean, toward the end of Miles' career and life. They actually recorded some track. Well, apparently Prince recorded some tracks and sent them to Miles Davis, and they are known as the Rubber Band Sessions. But the tracks, they've never been released.
Has anybody heard these?
I wonder if it's a little bit like the legendary Jimi Hendrix John McLaughlin jam.
Really?
Where someone was rolling tape and they were kind of messing around the studios. And if you ever heard it, I mean, it's like a holy grail for guitarists. But it's not happening. It's not good, and McLaughlin has never let it be released because he's very aware that, he said he had a lousy guitar, he had a hollow body, he was feeding back while he was trying to jam with Jimmy, and it's just like not working. So I kind of wonder if first Miles got the stuff and was maybe less than thrilled, and then maybe Prince has realized this, these collaborations don't always work,
Well, yeah, and also there's so much intense hype that's built right into the names being on there. You're like, so if it doesn't live up to it for one person or the other, it's not going to get released.
All right, well let's move on here, and now we're going to take a right turn into some bluegrass. And our next cut is from a woman named Alison Krauss, who is a breakout bluegrass star who crossed over into giant country success in country music, while still maintaining a really strong bluegrass and acoustic, sound in her music. And she, is known as one of the great singers of all time in either genre. But she really
How many Grammys did you? What the heck?
27.
What the heck?
She had the most Grammys in the history of the Grammys. Something you wouldn't, I think it was very surprising for me, like Alison Krauss, really. And she was just eclipsed by Beyonce this year. So Beyonce's got 28, Alison's right behind her with 27.
Well, I mean, Grammys are not necessarily based on like musical talent or musical wonderfulness. They're more about making the industry money.
Yeah.
So that's how you get your Grammy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you make the business a bunch of money and you get a Grammy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should keep that as the arbiter of what's right and wrong, but it does show,
like Oscars, right? Like Oscars.
Where I think it's interesting, actually, is I think the reason to bring it up is that here's a bluegrass singer who's accomplished these things and is not a giant pop star like Beyonce. So I think that speaks to her success. So sometimes it's interesting, the lesser known people get a Grammy, like, why did they get recognized by a lot of their peers? And I think she's the gold standard in terms of her band and everything. And
Has she done an instrumental album?
not that I'm aware of. Again, I was digging around even to see if I could find some of her early bluegrass stuff, and there's a really good album of hers when she was very young, because again, she's kind of burst on the scene. She's maybe 17, where she's got all the cats, Sam Bush and Jerry Douglas and all the top guys, but it's really focused on her singing, and she plays violin, but there's not that hot fiddle solo, although she's totally capable, because she was really known as a prodigy fiddler at first.
Why doesn't the business, the Nashville machine, let her do that? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's out there and we haven't found it. So if someone's listening and you know of a great cut, let us know.
Yeah, some demonic fiddling from Alison Krauss.
There you go. So we're going to hear a cut that's off a live album, and when you see Alison Krauss in Union Station, often the billing will say, and featuring Jerry Douglas. And Jerry Douglas is a dobro player whom we're going to be hearing a lot from because he's on 800 records or something. And,
wow.
And he is the
Michael Brecker of dobro.
Yeah, he's the guy. Yeah, he's the man. He changed the instrument. We'll be doing a lot on Jerry.
It's so funny watching those guys play when they stand up and the thing's sideways.
Yeah.
It looks bizarre.
And then you'll notice that, and they put the strap over their arm for that one hand. It slides in underneath the strap.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So, yeah, those who don't know what a dobro is, it's basically a steel string guitar that lays flat and has different types of tunings, than a regular guitar. And it's played with a metal bar that slides along the strings.
I mean, it's essentially lap steel, but on a dobro, right?
Yeah, but the difference is that these strings are raised up off the neck. You do not hit frets or anything with that neck.
Yeah, right. Oh, you mean the action's super high?
Yeah, so that there's a bending, pushing, and things, but you're not like a slide guitar where you're playing a bottleneck, where you've got frets and things in it.
Right, and there's no way to play that like, oh, I'm just going to play it like a guitar now. No, you're not, because the action's inch off the neck, right?
Exactly, yeah. So the reason we bring all that up is this is a song written by Jerry Douglas, and so this is a chance, for her band to show off its instrumental prowess. Incidentally, the mandolin player, Dan Tyminski, is also an excellent singer, and he happened to play the voice of George Clooney in the Coen Brothers movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Ah, okay.
He did all the singing for George Clooney, so you're going to get to hear his instrumental ability along with Alison Krauss.
I mean, I always think in this genre of music, everybody sings, right? That's kind of a prerequisite, that you can at least do the high lonesome fifths harmony, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Jerry Douglas, has been singing more on his later albums, and performing more and getting a little more comfortable as a singer.
Yeah, right.
So let's listen to this Jerry Douglas tune called "We Hide and Seek" with Alison Krauss on violin, and you'll hear her take a couple of solos that are not necessarily super hot licks, but you'll get a sense of her tone and her soul and what a great player she is.